everybody, Victoria here. Welcome to my channel for the third and final part of the Christmas 2018 home tour. We are on the main level of my house. If you haven't already seen them, there's a video for the lower level and one for the third floor, which is where my bedroom is. Okay, so without further ado, let's get to it because there's a lot to cover on this main floor. So we're gonna start right here at the entrance. Here's my front door. We are all huge Harry Potter fans in this house. So my sister-in-law gave us this for Christmas last year. And it's a magnet and it hangs on the back of our door all the time. So right above it we have the Happy Holiday sign. I don't remember where I got a lot of this. A lot of this, however, is new as of last year and or this year. If you saw my haul video, you'll remember this guy. He came from At Home. But these guys came from Christmas Tree. Every year they put out like 3 or 4 and we were getting them every year, and then this year they stopped making them. We hope they bring them back because they're awesome. The price comparison, where this guy was $20, these guys were $7.99. That's the price difference, and then I think they look equally cool. So the decor in my house is very traditional. I love the traditional Christmas colors, red and green, but I also like the whimsical side of it. So you'll see these elves and gnomes and things like this throughout my decor. That sign, Elf Wanted, is new. That came from a local department store called Gabe's. And again, look at these elves. Look at this one hanging upside down on the clock. He's holding a whole sign, he's holding a whole sign, and then this one's holding the third. There's this one who's sitting inside of an elf shoe. And then, oh, look at that, a funky bow. There's gonna be a lot of these on this floor. There's one underneath a cloche, sitting on top of ornaments. And look at this one. Holding onto the table. I love these elves. They're awesome. And then if you go up the stairs, that's how you get up to there's the door to my bedroom. And then here on the banister, here's another one, another elf. Look at that face. They're so awesome. I hope Christmas Tree brings them back. I made this bow last year. This year I wanted to do something more substantial in the entryway. That garland we bought from Facebook Marketplace last year. It came with the colored lights, unfortunately, so I added the balls and the ribbon, and the hanging balls I added this year because I wanted it to tie into what I did up here. I wanted something dramatic, and I'm not completely 100% thrilled with this. This is what I could come up with. I handmade all of those snowflakes. It was a lot of cutting. I want to make them bigger though. I want to have huge, big ornaments, snowflakes to put up on this wall because it's so blank and there's so much of it. I would love to have a bunch of ginormous snowflakes coming down that wall. So maybe next year I'll be able to do it. Anyway, if you turn around, we have the deer squad. I love deer, especially when they look like they're made of wood. These guys came between last year and this year. And I think between Rite Aid and Big Lots, we got them all. And then above here, I don't have a lot of farmhouse decor in my house, but I do love tobacco baskets. So I did get this one at a flea market, and then that wreath came from Joann's this year. I like that it's flocked. It looked perfect like that, so I just added that little tin sign from Christmas Tree. Over here we have this swag. Got it from Hobby Lobby. 2 years ago, it was significantly discounted. It was down from $80, and I think we got it for, I want to say $10. And it had the chocolate browns and the golds, which is not the colors in my house, so I decided to add reds. And then I added that Harlequin bow, which when you see the main tree, you'll see why that Harlequin bow is in there. And then if we go into the powder room, if you saw my Halloween home tour, you know that I had a Halloween tree here. Turn on the light. Ooh, that's bright. And I like the way it looks, so I decided to do a Christmas tree in here. All those picks came from Walmart and or Michael's. That plate I've had for years. That's an ornament from Home Goods. I've had that for years. This little boxwood wreath stays up year round. I just place it in different spots in this bathroom. Those two signs are new, Flea Market, and I don't remember where that one came from. I get all of my curtains and linens from, well, not all of it, but 98% of it, I would say, from a store called Collections Etc. Guys, if you haven't checked it out, check them out. My gosh, I can't talk. I really recommend them. They have a lot of holiday linens where it looks like, like that's embroidered on there. And this valance, I believe, costs $6.99. They oftentimes have free shipping if you order above a certain amount, and you're gonna see a lot of Christmas linens throughout the main floor, and there was some in the basement. I didn't point it out, but yeah, Collections Etc. You guys should check them out. And then here I have my flowers. All these flowers came from Michael's, well, except those red ones. I had those, but the greenery and then these on the bottom came from Michael's. Again, these little signs. Christmas tree shop. That one, I'm not sure where I got it from, but years ago. And then I have a lot of hand towels for the bathroom, so I wanted to put them in almost like a little display case. And then artificial poinsettias from Joann's this year. And then let's see, on the door, I made this arrangement with just a bunch of red flowers, and this is a scarf that I got at the Dollar Tree, and I just tied it around the basket. And then if we go back here, my favorite company for holiday soaps and lotions. I love Pecksniff. I always get that from Home Goods and TJ Maxx. Here are my guest towels, and like I said in my haul video, see, everyone is different. And I have so many, there's overflowing because we have a Christmas party tomorrow, so we're gonna have a lot of people in this bathroom, so that's why there's so many in there. Normally I don't fill it up that much when it's just us. My little nightlight, I love that it looks like stained glass and it matches with the colors in this room. And so there you are, the powder room. And again, let's see what it looks like with the lights turned off. Cool. Okay, so again, coming in this way. Coat closet. If you remember, if you watched my haul video, you know that I got that stocking from an antique market, and I knew I wanted to zhuzh it up. And I've had these flowers, I got them at Michael's years ago, and I love the glitter. I just thought they looked perfect in such an ornate Christmas stocking. This was a lot of trial and error, taking picks out and putting different things in. At first I had holly, then I had greenery, and the problem was most of it kept falling out. So I have it filled with a lot of tissue paper to give it weight, and then I actually have floral oasis in there, and all these picks are stuck in the floral oasis, and that's what's keeping them from falling out of the stocking. But yeah, I think it looks amazing. I think so. And I made a funky bow for the top to dress it up. And again, there's the harlequin pattern. And again, wait until you see the main tree and you'll see why this pattern is showing up on this level. Then over here, there's this Victorian MDF wreath that I got at TJ Maxx this year. I love Victorian Christmas, and I thought this stocking looked Victorian, and so that's why I placed those two there. And now on to the dining room. Here we have that other swag that I got at home. The other one is hanging upstairs. If you saw my part 2 video, I did add ribbon and a funky bow to this one. The one upstairs, I only added a Santa face or head to it. And but I think I'm going to add ribbon and a bow to the one upstairs because I like the way this one came out. And then in here we have a Santa figurine with a battery operated tea light, and then these cute little miniature wreaths from the Target dollar spot. I think that looks cute. And then funky bow, and then of course up there we have another one of these elves, because they are just, they get into everything. These guys just everywhere. Look, how did he get up there? Playful little scamps. Then down here I have my Christmas card mailbox. This came from Home Goods. It actually came with a bunch of cookies in it. We took out the cookies, and now we're using it to hold our holiday cards that we're getting from all of our friends and family. And I wanted to set it up like a little vignette. And down there I have a box of Christmas hats. I have antlers and elves hats and Santa hats, and so when people come over, we put them on, we take pictures. It's fun. This is actually part of an antique lace hand crocheted tablecloth that a friend of mine gave me. She gave me 3 of them because she didn't have use for them and her kids didn't want them, she said. And she said that I would find a use for them. The problem is that 2 of them were heavily stained and or had holes in them. I don't know how to crochet, so there was no way I was going to be able to repair them. And at first I thought I was going to tea stain them and that would hide the stain. And I had them in my closet for a while, and then when it was time to decorate for Christmas, I had an idea. And I took them out and I started to cut them. So this is actually the biggest piece of the one that I cut up, and you're gonna see this in my kitchen. You're gonna see it here in the living room. I am obsessed now with the way this antique crochet lace looks. It makes everything look so soft and romantic, and you know, like traditional. I love the way it softens everything, but that hint of cream is what takes it over the top for me. And then over here I have one of my 2 Santa displays. Santa's my favorite person in the world at Christmas time. I love you, Santa. This big guy here on the sleigh was a gift from my sister. Everybody who knows me knows I love Santa, so I get a lot of Santas for my friends and my family. That one came from my daughter. That's actually an antique that belongs to my fiance's mother. It was one of the things that she left her when she passed away. And then this guy was thrift store, gift from a friend from last year. And look, I even have his clothes hanging right there. There are his pants. I took a very old garland that I had and I cut it up and I put it down because I thought it looked too plain. And then these lights were another one of my purchases from Trees and Trends. If you saw my first part of this home tour, I mentioned that I learned about trees and trends from another YouTuber named Danielle. Her channel's called Danielle's Decor, and she uses these in her house. It looks like one strand of lights, but when you pull them apart, it's actually 15 individual one of these. And you can like separate them and throw them everywhere, and they glow so bright and they do not get hot. They're so easy to use, and because they're like fairy lights, they're bendable. You can put them wherever you want. I bought 2 sets of these. I love them. I'm gonna buy more for next year. As well as the twinkling lights that I showed in my tour of the basement. I like those lights as well. And then here on my dining room table, just a simple vignette. I got this little tree from Trees and Trends along with the lights, and I put it in a mini tobacco basket, and I just added a little string of battery operated lights from the Dollar Tree. I took picks apart and threw it in there just to add some interest to it, and I had this little sign that I bought at a flea market, which matches a tin tray that I have. I love it. And then Ferrero Rocher, one of my favorite candies to eat at the holidays. I like the coconut ones though, not the dark chocolates. Do you guys like those? I love them. And then if you saw my haul video, you should remember this picture. I thought I was gonna use it on my mantle, and then it didn't work out. So here it is, and I wanted to cut real holly from my yard, but that plant is looking a little sad, and I felt bad cutting it. So instead, I'm using artificial greenery. And everywhere I go looking for real holly, either they're real small, the little branches that they have, or they're too expensive, and I don't know. Maybe I will get some before the holiday season is out. I made these mini funky bows. I made 4 of them, and I put one on the back of each chair just to add something. I wanted to add something else to my chairs, but I didn't get a chance to this year, maybe next year. Oh, here's another one of the linens that I got from Collections, etc. Again, guys, these toppers and runners and valances and things that they sell, very, very affordable and very well made. And I've seen these in other places, and they're much more expensive than for what Collections, etc. sells them for. Then back there, I have my barrel of gnomes. Some people have barrel of monkeys. I have a barrel of gnomes. Here we go. It's a lot of them, including these little guys, which we got. It's a pair. We got them from our trip to Canada last year. And then a little paperweight glass one that came from Home Goods. And the big chief himself, Papa Gnome. I love how big he is, but he has tiny, tiny little feet. This huge, big old body and no legs. He's like a little mushroom. Oh, and there's more of that antique lace. I'm telling you, I've been using it everywhere. And then more artificial poinsettias. And then if we go up here, I have this garland that I got last year from Joann's, or was it Michael's? I don't remember. And these 3 guys came from Big Lots. And then that little Jingle All the Way came from Christmas Tree Shop. And that wreath came from an antique market. The same place that we got, excuse me, I'm moving my chairs if you hear the noise, that I got the tobacco baskets from. And then I gotta dim the lights or else they're gonna be too bright. My chandelier, there we go. Hopefully you can see that. There's another one of those scams. Oh look, he stole one of my ornaments. I knew I was missing one. These guys, they're such tricksters. There's my Harlequin. That bow stays up year round. I love that pattern. I feel like it works at any time of the year, especially at Christmas. I love the way the black and white looks with the red. And then I just have some different types of poinsettia garland in there to give the lamp some depth and interest. And this is my tiny little dining room area. That back there is just some white branches that I got at a local farmer's market and some cotton picks that I got on sale. If you guys buy these at Hobby Lobby or Michael's or things like that, you know that those cotton picks can be expensive. I got them very, very cheap. That's why I have so many. Okay, and then moving on to the rest of the living room. Here I have my blanket ladder, and then this skate that I got at a antique market, and another one of my funky bows with the harlequin pattern. I originally wanted to add lights to this, but it looked nice, but I didn't like that you could see the wire. So I kept taking them off. I think next year, if I get another one of the strands that I used over there on the Santa display, it might work better, because there is a wire and it's like metal and it's easier to hide than the green that comes with the string lights that I was using. So then right here is just my side again, collections, etc. guys, look at that, beautiful. And because I love the black of the harlequin pattern, when I saw this, I bought this last year, I had to get it. Look how pretty that looks with the red tablecloth underneath, which came from Christmas Tree Shop. But yeah, I just have one of my 32,000 Yankee candles burning over there. I believe that's something that smells like pine trees, I don't know. Here's another one. And there's that tray that matches that little sign that was in that tree. Okay, then if we turn around and don't bump into things, nice going, we have my big Santa display, topped off by the Pièce de Resistance, my Mark Roberts, genuine Mark Roberts Santa that I found by a miracle of Christmas in Home Goods this year. I wasn't looking for this. I didn't even know they sold this at Home Goods. And it was actually my fiance who pointed him out. He was standing behind a bunch of other Santas, and she saw his hat. And she knows that I love the Santas. Again, my favorite person. So she said, what about this one? And I said, well, I like his hat. I couldn't see him. And she pulled him out. And at first I'm like, no, there's too much going on him. And when I saw he had his certificate of authenticity hanging on his coat, and it said Mark Roberts, we have to get him, because there is no way I will be able to afford that size sold anywhere else. We got it for $100 at Home Goods. Again, I have no idea how. Certificate of authenticity and everything. We looked them up online, and he normally sells for $400. So yeah, we did pretty good. And his hands were empty, so I bought this bead garland from Joann's, and that little believe sign came from Target Dollar Spot. I just hung it on there with wire, and there. Now he's asking all of us to believe. Believe in what? Well, believe in Santa, of course. And I do. I believe in Santa. He's beautiful. And then here are my other Santas. Thrift store, Hobby Lobby, Christmas Tree Shop. And those trees in the back came from Joann's, and I just added lights to them. And there's my display. I love it. I think they look great. And then down there we just have, again, people know I love Santa. That's a music box that a co-worker of mine gave me, Teresa, and I love him. And then just a Santa plate. Don't mind the candles in the background. We have a lot of candles, running out of places to put them. And then over here is just a flower arrangement, just red and white flowers. Got these at Hobby Lobby. Look how big and fluffy they are. And then I made a bow, not a funky bow, regular bow. And then again, here's the matching runner that goes with that topper. I think it looks beautiful against the black of that piece. And then real quick, you might have seen this in the first part of my home tour that just leads down to my basement. And I didn't mention it before, but that little tree down there, where's my finger? Right there. That's also from Trees and Trends, and I just added lights to it. And then above one of the entrances to the kitchen, there's two ways to get into the kitchen from here. We bought this sign from Joann's, Home for the Jolly Days. And then above the other entrance, we have Candy Cane Lane, which we got at a flea market. I was hoping to find something like Reindeer Drive or something, but I couldn't find it, so that's why we ended up with two different signs. And then over here I have my little red truck, which are super popular this year. This came from an antique store. And then freshly cut Christmas trees from, where's this from? Michael's. I think Michael's, yes. And then Santa gift sacks from Target Dollar Spot, and they are actually, one of them is actually filled with gifts. That one just has tissue paper, and that one just has paper, but that has actual gifts, because tomorrow at our Christmas party we're gonna give gifts to the kids who come to the party. And again, there's more of that lace on my antique chair that came from a local school. That little chair is over 100 years old. I have no idea how many children sat on that chair, and it was given to me when the school that I worked at was getting remodeled. I love that chair. Then if we swing over this way, you may remember that from my haul video that came from At Home, I believe. And then if we swing over here, these three came, no, the Ho 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 and the Merry Christmas came from Christmas Tree. The ones with the stockings came from At Home. And then that throw in the back, which matches the colors perfectly, was a gift from my mom a few years ago. And then that's an actual like organic wreath from Home Goods. I have no idea how I've kept it from falling apart, because every year it loses more and more of its eucalyptus. Everything on there is actually dried flowers, and the only thing that's not organic is that ribbon. So it gets drier and drier, and I don't know how to preserve it, and things fall off and I try to stick them back on, but you know, but I think it's still holding. I'm gonna keep it until it's almost all bald, and then I can't hide it anymore, and then I'll replace it. But there's funky bows that I made. I made that little thing last year from picks that I bought at Joann's, and then there's a matching one over there. Then the coffee table, I have this lantern that I bought on sale at AC Moore. AC Moore is like a Joann's and a Michael's. Stores not all over the country like the other two. I think it's only in certain states. And anyway, I had that little red truck for 2 years now, and so I put it in there with a tree and some snow, and I took some battery operated lights from the Dollar Tree and I stuck it up there. I made a funky bow because why not? And then if we go around the other side, bear with me. There's that. If you saw my haul video, you know I got this at a Christmas tree shop. I thought originally I was going to have this underneath a cloche, but this looks great. Now it's a two-sided lantern. The little truck on the other side, and then this little scene on this side. I think it looks great. Coasters, candy. These are, I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this correctly, the Nawat ornaments, they're the ones that are hand painted. It's glass hand painted from the inside. They're very, very expensive if any of you have ever tried or seen them. So because they're so special to me and expensive, they don't hang on the tree. They get their own special little spot. Let me see if I can show, because the artwork on this, it really is remarkable. And this is again all painted by hand from the inside. Like if you feel it, it's all smooth glass. You don't feel any paint. It's all on the inside. Each one of these is a little miniature work of art. If I if I had it my way, and by that I mean if I had the money, I will have an entire tree decorated with just these ornaments. That's just battery operated tea light. I've had that for years. That came from thrift store. And then just pillar candles from the Dollar Tree. From Christmas tree shop. And then over here in front of my fireplace. Oh gosh, I wanted to light my fireplace. Oh well. Tomorrow at the party, it'll definitely be lit. Another tree from Trees and Trends. That pillow I've had for forever. Those are just tins that used to have chocolate that I got at Home Goods. And then another reindeer. I bought this at Big Lots this year. You might have seen that in my haul video. And now for the mantle. If you saw my haul video, you might have remember me saying that I wanted to do almost like a monochromatic mantle this year. I've never decorated this way. You see how much color I have in my house. Look, I have every color. Why would I take all of this red and all this green and then suddenly go, well, we're gonna do creams. Mainly creams, maybe some green. But I had already these, what drove this were these Santas. They came from a thrift store. If you guys don't shop at thrift stores, I really recommend it. You can find absolute true treasures. My fiance and I, we joke around that if we ever break up, this is what we're gonna fight for, or fight over, because the detail in these figurines, and they were all handmade by a local artist. We have no idea how to get in touch with him. We will love to get more of his pieces. But again, it came from a thrift store, and so they had no information to give us. And what's really amazing is that look at that. And I love how the light from the inside just shows it even more, and each one of them is different. They were like $5.99 each, which I know that's not what they originally cost. And yeah. And so it was these three Santas that drove this mantle, because we wanted to showcase them in a way. In the past, they're always on our mantle because they're very, very special to us, but they tend to disappear when we add all the other colors to the mantle. And so this year we wanted them to stand out, but we didn't want to race them. We didn't want them, because of the scale, we wanted to keep them, at this level. They do come with lights that go inside them, electrical. We didn't want to deal with the wires, and so what's inside each one of them is one of these little strands from those lights that I bought from Trees and Trends. And so see how bright that is? Look how much is making him glow, just one of these little strands. So, and then I just got some greenery picks from Michael's. Look at this. I love ceramic that looks like this, and then just accents of gold, not overly done, not a lot of color, just cream like this, with just I got this at a consignment store, and then he came from At Home, I believe. I was thinking about adding lights to his little tree, but then I changed my mind. And then that green tree came from Home Goods, and Target had a matching one. I found this thing at Goodwill. I wanted to get more bottlenose brushes, but everywhere I went, they didn't have the gold ones. They only had the green ones. Goodwill, that came from Goodwill, and I just put little gifts in there. This also came from Goodwill, and again, more gifts in that sleigh. That nutcracker came from Home Goods, and he came from Home Goods as well. And he just had battery operated lights inside him. That's what's making him glow. And then, oh my gosh, look at these urns, you guys. I found these at a French style store in a town here in Pennsylvania called Bethlehem. How appropriate for this time of year. And we've been there twice, and each time we've gone, the lady, the owner, the shop owner, had a different one of these in her window. And of course, I ended up buying both of them because, hello, they're gorgeous. And so, yeah, they also needed to end up on my mantle, on my cream and green mantle this year, because they match perfectly. Gorgeous. And then that tree came from Home Goods. And then this wreath came from Home Goods as well. It was very plain. I am going to insert a before picture so you can see what it looked like. It just had the pine cones in it, and I added the ribbon and that other ribbon and those bells. And then these little swirly icicles were actually handmade by a friend of mine that works with me. Ashley, if you're watching, that's how I ended up using your icicles, your gift. Thank you. I think they look beautiful on my wreath. And then those little swirly things I got at AC Moore and stuck them in there. If you saw the first part of my video, you saw that I also added those to my daughter's Christmas tree downstairs. And oh, forgot that tree back there. Home Goods. Yes, Home Goods this year. And there you go. And then oh my gosh, geez, that's the other half of the antique hand crocheted tablecloth that my friend gave me. I normally have this, and when we put it on the mantle, it just looks so wah wah wah. I wanted to add something to it to give it more And so when we draped this on and clipped it here with these little clips that came from Walmart, we said, this is it, this is the look. And then our stocking, I don't know how I feel about these stockings. I like them, but really, with this mantle, but I don't want to buy stockings to switch out every time I don't know. I want to get new ones, but I want to get maybe something that's a little bit more universal, that goes with whatever I put up there. But I don't know. If you guys have any suggestions, please let me know in the comments. I'm on the market for new stockings. And then that's the other real wreath that I bought yesterday to give the house some maybe Christmas scent, because my tree is not real. And now on to the tree. What about Let's start down here. That horse I got at Home Goods years ago, and that little one came from Goodwill. And then here's the one tablecloth that my friend gave me that I did not cut up. This one's actually perfect, in perfect condition. It's not stained, it has no holes, and so I didn't want to mess it up. So I thought, what if I use it as a tree skirt? And I think it looks beautiful. What do you guys think of my tree? Let's go down again. can see. Let me see if I can get the whole. I don't want to turn my phone, but yeah, I think it looks good. I wanted to use this Harlequin ribbon. I tried using it last year, but it didn't work last year. Last year I just had pigs put in the tree and they got lost. So this year I went back to the store where I got it, which is Wegmans, which is, believe it or not, a supermarket. And they had changed the ribbon this year. I don't know if you guys can see how glittery it is. Last year, the ribbon they were selling, same pattern, was just flat. And so things happen for a reason. I was meant to use the ribbon this year this way because the glittery, I think, makes it even better. And then they had this ribbon, which I don't know if you can see, is supposed to be red and black and gold, almost like Santa's belt. So I looped both of them because, again, I love the red with the black and white, and I think it turned out really, really good. And then my Santa topper, tree topper, which came from Amazon 3 or 4 years ago, he didn't have a Harlequin pattern, and so I cut up a strip of one of the ribbon from last year. See, you can see it's flat, it doesn't have the glittery, and I added it to his staff, and then I added it to the gifts that he's carrying in his hand. And now he matches my tree. There's a YouTuber who I follow, Joe Cinque, I hope I'm pronouncing his name. This tree would break his heart because there's too much green. Joe, I know, I am so disappointing you. This is not at all what he would do. He will add so much ribbon and so many balls and so many ornaments and so many picks that you wouldn't see the greenery. And I love how he decorates. I love all his trees, which is why I follow him on YouTube. But I don't know. I want to see my ornaments. All the ornaments on this tree, this is the main tree, they're very special to me. This tree to me is like Oprah's favorite things. If I like something, it's going up on my tree as an ornament. So I love the 12 Days of Christmas. So we got some of that. There's Harlequin. I love bells. I love sleds. Santa. Santa's all over this tree. I love ceramic ornaments. I love glass ornaments, so there's a bunch. I get ornaments every time I go on vacation. I love cloisonné. I love Victorian. What else? Again, from my vacation. Santa. I love wooden ornaments, as long as, you know, they don't look too rustic. There's Santa, glass, ceramic. The theme in my kitchen is roosters, so people know that, so I get roosters. You know, bells. Yeah, if I like it, I try to find ornaments in that medium and I put it on my tree. My daughter's initial, there's one with a V and one with an L. There's Victorian again, Harlequin, with glass, Santa. I love birds, I love cardinals, so I put them in my tree. My sister, Gloria, hand painted that for me and gave it to me last year. I think he's beautiful. She's so talented. There again, Victorian, ceramic, glass. So yeah, I don't like to stick with just one type of ornament. I don't like when trees have a bunch of red balls or a bunch of gold balls. I want people to come up to my tree and just spend hours going, oh, look at that one. Oh, and look at that one. Oh, wow, look at that one. And every year, the tree always looks different. It never, ever, 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 ever looks the same. Because what are the odds that I will end up putting the ornaments in the exact same spot every year? Not gonna happen. That and the fact that I buy upwards of 20 new ornaments every year to add to this tree. My fiance always teases me. She says, that's it, that's enough. We can't fit anymore. And then we put them all on and they fit and they look great. And the tree's not crowded. Not yet. So Joe, if you're watching this video, I'm sorry that my tree is not super loaded like the ones you decorate. But you know what? This gives me more greenery to fill up with more ornaments in the future. That's how I see that. So that's my goal. My goal is to fill this tree up with ornaments and cover up the green with ornaments. Not ribbon or balls or pigs, with actual ornaments. So my main tree for 2018. By the way, those garlands over my garlands, I think you could say garlands, came from Michaels. And now on to the final room, which is the kitchen.